Hey golfers, want to show you another exercise on how to improve your body position through impact. We know that if we get in too much secondary tilt, that's dangerous for the back and can lead into injuries. But how do we stay stacked into our backswing and through impact? Because it happens so fast. I mean, the downswing is a ballistic motion. We got a quarter of a second to figure it out. So we have to do it by feel. I want to show you a new exercise and some gears data that shows that trying to stay in posture is really not what happens. So the idea is if you're trying to stay in posture by keeping your rear side back up against the wall, I'm going to show you that's all wrong. No tour player does that. What they ended up doing is changing forward bend for side bend. All the tour players that we have on the gear system that I've looked at all come and have extension in their pelvis motion. They are extending on the way back and they're extending on the way through. So the question is, how does this work? It gets replaced by secondary tilt of our pelvis. So here's an exercise to kind of help feel that. And by keeping your head even with your hands and something high, you do this in a door frame. And just feeling you kind of load into this trail glute right there. And then now we're going to reverse it and load into that lead glute and just replace it. And this is a very symmetrical motion going there. And I want you to feel that you're allowing your pelvis to get up and to slide over, okay? So there's a combination of lateral movement along with extension. Extension is not the problem. We just lose it through rotation and losing side bend. That's it. So this simple drill is a great stretch to feel how you can maintain your posture but protect your back by letting your pelvis use extension during the golf swing. So let's take a look at some swings and see how that looks in real motion. Golfers, here I have a tour player, and the numbers I have besides pelvis sway, you can read that in thrust, which is forward movement, sway side to side. The image on the left, the avatar on the left, that shows forward pelvis bend, which is 23.37 degrees. Side tilt is on the avatar on the right. I mixed these up because you start looking at all the numbers, or I separated these because you start looking at all the numbers together and it blurs everything. So what I want to do is kind of just point out how extension happens in the golf swing. So remember, even in the backswing, we see a golfer go into extension. So here's he in transition. Started out at 23 degrees. He went into, 19 degrees. So there's a little bit of extension right there. Now, why is that not necessarily a bad thing? Because we see he breaks through the line. It's because of the tilt. So we get pretty much at almost about a 12 degree negative is down. Side tilt of the pelvis. So that's where that lead pelvis joint is lower than the trail pelvis joint. So it's one of those that's how he's able to maintain the posture. But in order for humans to move, it's easier to move when we're into zero flexion or minimal flexion compared to being flexed over. So at 23 degrees, you can see he loses a little bit. As the club's working down, kind of regains some of it as the hips are rotating. But we're going to see never gets back to 23 degrees. And we can see when lead arm gets parallel, we're already starting to lose any type of forward bend in the golf swing. But if you take a look, it's offset by rotation. And we're going to see here at the same spot, we're starting to see now a positive side tilt, which means the lead hip is higher trail hip is lower. So the side tilt is replacing forward bend. And so trying to keep your backside to the wall is not what the tour players do. No one's really squatting out there. You may see some of it for momentary milliseconds. You saw this player kind of 1 or 2 degrees, but then it still never went to what he was initially. The players are working out. That's the only way for us to rotate safely is to have less forward bend. So going into extension is a good thing. We need it. Every tour player does it. Okay, from this point we can see, let's see what happens through impact. Now the golfer's actually gone into just past impact. The pelvis, there is no flexion of the pelvis. The pelvis has also swayed laterally 4.1 inches from address. So it's a lateral shift, and eliminating any type of flexion in the pelvis is what the best tour players are doing. And we can see this being replaced by side tilt. So this way it appears that the posture is being maintained, but in reality the body's coming up. And we also have to remember this is happening at a real fast point in the golf swing. This is something that doesn't hold in position. So kind of going through this, the tour players up through this as much as possible. And you can see how forward that is. And then the tilt actually increases before the player starts coming up. So again, don't try to stay in flexion with the pelvis. Let it slide laterally to the lead side and get up through impact in order for your pelvis to rotate better and put a lot less stress on your back. Here's another example of a famous tour player. And the reason why I picked this out, even though it's blurry, is I want you to take a look at his white belt and the belt buckle, silver belt buckle it looks like, moving through it, up and through impact. Look at where the pelvis gets thrusted up. There's no maintaining flexion in the swing, goes through pure extension. And that is how the pelvis needs to move. We see the best ball strikers in the world do it. And this is what made Mr. Hogan very unique, that he definitely was not staying down through the shot. It's that lateral, rotational, and upward movement we need of the body through impact in order to hit our best shots. So golfers, don't worry about trying to keep your pelvis flexed throughout the golf swing. It is the incorrect way of doing it. Let there be extension. Just realize that we need a little bit of lateral motion to get into the hip joints, especially in front. Good 4 inches or so forward of the start. So we have to have that lateral motion in the hip joints. Don't worry about overswaying. I just haven't seen too many people. I mean, if you get to the outside of the foot, yeah, it's too much. But a couple inches to the trail side, and obviously then we gotta get about 6 inches over to the lead side. So realize that in order to do that, I have to extend and rotate, and that combination of 3 planes of motion is really what is happening in the golf swing. We're not trying to maintain our flexion in the backswing and through impact. You can put pressure on your back. It's not what the tour players do, and we need more efficient motion through impact. So use the drills. Don't worry about trying to keep your rear up against the wall. It's not how it works. And let's play some better golf. Thanks, Dr. Mitchell. Hips are feeling great. Get to play golf again without pain. This is bizarre. Golfers, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk to y'all later.